Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we're back for another brand new video, and we're back after what has been a hectic period, not only with the Old Firm and then dealing with the Old Firm drama and all the tears that's went after that game. Imagine if they had lost. It's been a hectic couple weeks. If we're honest, it's been the World Cup ending, we then had Christmas, New Year. Me and thee hasn't had enough time to actually sit down and discuss this upcoming transfer window, which is absolutely massive and arguably the biggest transfer window in a very, very long time. Now, of course, if you go back to last year, we were also going into the first transfer window with a new manager in terms of Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. But again, we were sitting pretty at the top of the league at that point. Things were looking not too bad going into that aspect. But now we're not. We don't have the comfort of several points being given at the top of the table. No, we are chasing the pack right now. Our squad isn't as strong as it was at this point last season in terms of injuries and players now missing the rest of the season with certain injuries, the likes of Davis and possibly Hollander, which we'll speak about in today's video. And of course, our squad getting older and need a fresh injection. So this is absolutely massive, not only for Michael Beale, but for us as a fan base. So I thought, you know what, it's been a very, very, very long time since we just sat down with no plot, no outline, no standard format. We're just going to sit here, let the camera roll and discuss what we need from this January transfer window, which I imagine a lot of people will say right away, a lot, CJ, I know. And that would be the short answer. But again, I like to chat to you now and again, people, and it's been a little while, sorry. So let's go deeper into what we need in the January transfer window. And I thought what would be really interesting is we try to predict or see what we feel we need, and then when the transfer window slams shut, people, we can't sit and happy clap and pretend that everything was great. If it wasn't, we will go back, we will look at this video, we'll say what we felt we needed, and at the end of the transfer window we'll see if we got it. So it could be very interesting, especially if you get involved. Let me know your thoughts and opinions, because again, the channel's never just about my opinion. So what do you think we need from this January transfer window? Whilst you plot that down in the old comment section below, I'll go ahead and tell you a couple things, and I'm going to get the most obvious one out the way right away, because I can imagine every single person will be screaming this in the comment section below. It's signings, people. I know, I've been sitting here like a preacher every Sunday shouting and screaming and begging for signings into this football club, and that is what's needed. But I feel like, again, going a little bit deeper, what type of signing do we need? Do we need someone who's a prodigy or someone who's looking good in a couple of years to come? No, for me, we didn't need another project, people. We've got a couple projects already in the actual squad. We need a player that's going to impact the game right now. And again, I'm not talking about a 32, 33-year-old injury player who was here before or anything like that. I think we need to move past that type of scouting, because it's so lazy. Who played with us before? Is he out of contract? Let's give him a wee go. We need to get out of that mindset of signing players that was either played with us before or hitting that age of 32, 33 who's now free agents. Because I'll tell you something right now, if you're looking at the centre mid position, we have spent 50k on the midfield since we signed Edu all those years ago. Let that sink in, people. That is unbelievable. Now, I'm not sitting here saying all the free signings and everything have been terrible and they're all bad players. I'm not saying that at all, people. But if you're looking at an area of the team that's been heavily neglected over the years, it's quite clearly the middle of the park. And when you're looking at some of our struggles and some of our problems, where a lot of that comes from is the middle of the park. So I think we've now reached the point, people, the middle of the park needs some special treatment, needs a wee bit of TLC, and needs some money actually spent on it. So for me, if there is one position that needs to be strengthened in the January transfer window, it is that centre mid spot. And I'd genuinely be gobsmacked if we didn't sign not only one, but two. And the reason I say I'd be gobsmacked, because again, this window for me is the window of the midfield for Rangers. That's what needs to be the focus, because if you take a step back and you look at your midfield situation as it stands, where I'm currently recording today's video, right, we have Stephen Davis, the legend and one of my favourite all-time players. He's kicked the last ball for us, people. His contract was running out, probably wasn't getting extended anyway, but he's not going to be back before that, so he's probably kicked his last ball for his football club, as much as that hurts me to actually say. We've got Scotty Arfield, who is a very, very impactful player off the bench, but as we've seen, people, he's getting on there now, and when he starts, he's Casper, the friendly ghost, people. So We can't rely on him being a starter and getting involved in at the starting 11. But the players who normally can get in there and normally impact the starting 11 and impact games, the likes of the Kamaras and Jacks, their contracts are running out. People, Kamara's constantly linked with moves away. If there's one that's probably going to leave, it probably is going to be him as he attracts. You can see the quality that man brings. You can say, right, he could fit in this team, he could fit in this team, he can do a lot of things when he's actually at it. Even though for me he's been much better under Beale than he was under Gio. Quite clearly there was a problem there. But you're looking at all this now, people, and that's problem. I know Tom Lawrence is coming back very, very soon. He will be impactful. But again, it's not just about the 11. We need to get out the mindset that, oh, we've got him, that's all we need. No, people, look at the likes of Celtics we talked about, the Old Firm game. Look at the options they've got for the bench. They've got plan Bs, people. We've only got plan A, and then we've got plan project or plan he's still here for registration purposes and everything like that. We need to get beyond that, and we need genuine talent in this team. And I just think to myself, if we want to be successful, if we want to have a good, not only second half of this season, but kicking on to next year and having good times in Europe and redeeming some of the respect that we lost because of how embarrassing we were in the Champions League, it is going to need to be some genuine strength added to this midfield and quality that's able to act right now. Not again in 2 and 3 years, and not 2 or 3 years ago. Someone who's good right now, people. And that's where I think someone within that age of maybe 24 to 28, someone who's able to play, someone who's consistent, that is what I would love to see added to the midfield engine of this Rangers squad. What about you? Let me know your thoughts and opinions down there in the old comment section below. Now, of course, there is a couple of loan options in terms of the middle of the park that we currently have going on, including James Sands, of course, who, if you believe the rumours on that, is about £4 million or something like that, if we want to keep him in the squad and make his loan permanent. But I'll be honest, and this isn't recency bias because he was poor in the Old Firm and he looked shell-shocked and scared and that clip's going all around the place, but is it worth £4 million? No. People, if we pay it, it's money laundering. Genuinely. Like, I wouldn't understand any other reason we would actually pay that for the lad. And I think he's decent. I think he's been good for us in certain games. Other games, he's been invisible, but I wouldn't be splashing anywhere near that quality. And again, that's not the type of midfielder we need. People could say he's a centre-back and everything like that, but he lost his positioning in the American national side, people, because he was playing centre-half. They want to see him as a centre-mid, and we've seen him there a couple of times. Is he what we need to take us to the next level? I don't think so. So I'd like to see that money spent elsewhere. A Tillman, I'd be all for. And I'm going to talk about that in another future video, because Tillman, for me, is a guy that we can build towards him. Again, he's not just a project. I think he's very good right now, and he's impacting the game. If you look at his stats and the stuff he's recording and that, it's better than Aribo in most seasons. What do we all think of Joe Aribo and everything like that? So there is quality there. I'd be happy with that. But again, we need 1 or 2 in that engine room. And moving away from there, I would love to add a goalkeeper to this Rangers team, but we know that's probably not going to happen at all, as Michael Beale has came out a week or 2 ago and says he's happy with the goalkeeping situation. He's fine with McGregor and McLaughlin, so I won't get what I want else apart from the centre mid spot. But again, I just wanted to voice my opinion on it because everyone knows where I stand. Now, I know this is going to sound very broad and everything like that, and it's probably not going to narrow down. I'm not going to tell you exact names or anything like that, but I do think we need to add more attacking-minded players to this Rangers squad as well. Despite the players that is returning, the likes of the Hadjis and the Lawrences, I know they're going to add quality, but I'm looking at that bench right now, and I'm not seeing game changers or enough game changers, and I think we'll touch on something I'm going to mention in a minute or two in terms of clearing the decks of some players who haven't been able to take their chance. We need to replace them with players that actually can. So I would like to see at least 1 attack-minded player added in this January transfer window, whether that is another striker for another thing we're going to talk about in a minute, or more like a winger or something like that. Just something else added to this team that's a little bit different than we currently have. So that's it in terms of bringing in people. I get asked this a lot in the comment section below. What do you want to see brought in? I want to see at least 2 centre mids. I'd have liked to have seen a goalkeeper, but I'm not going to get that, and I need to see an attacker added in if we are to get this 2 or 3 players added during this transfer window. Again, it's not going to be a summer transfer window where with 16 bodies comes in like an influx. It is going to be 2 or 3, as Michael Beale said, round about that number. So if you're asking me what positions they need to be, I want 2 centre mids. and I want an attack-minded player. But branching off from that, people, as we just mentioned a minute or two to go, we also need to clear the decks of some of the players, and I know that's a lot easier said than done. Hell, a lot of this, what I'm saying in today's video, is easier said than done, especially when you want to try and move players on, because you can't move them if no one's willing to pay. So I do understand this, but I think without going into specific names or anything like, you know, the players who aren't able to. I'm not talking about Rabi Matondo here, by the way, as well. I want to address that right publicly, because the guy is getting absolutely slaughtered. He's a young laddie. He's taking some time to adjust. Can we just admit, people, there's been so many Rangers players that didn't start the Rangers career flying. Can we stop pretending that they all day? Do you know what I mean? Lundstrom, who's half your people's profile pictures and everything like that, you were all singing his song February, March, April and everything like that. You were all wanting him gone for about 4 months before that. Sometimes it takes a little while. Amad Diallo, who everyone is now doing revisional history wants back at this football club and that, he was poor the first couple of months because, again, the way Gio used him. But I thought he came onto a game and he was really great the last couple of times that we actually saw him. Sometimes it takes just a little bit of time to adjust and come up to speed with a club and the pressure. Rangers, Rabi's a young laddie. Let's get behind the wee man and remember and respect the fact that it does take players sometimes. So I'm not getting caught on all that clickbait bullying stuff I'm seeing online, wanting the laddie get punted out the door or anything like that. That's no for me or anything like that. I think he will come good, but there's players there who's been here for years, people, years, and they continually get opportunities and they continually didn't take them. I think we need to cut the slack with some of them and cut off the dead wood, if you will, if we are going to move in the right direction. And that's, of course, leading us to another player who heavily rumoured about the fact that his contract is going to get ripped up in January, and that is none other than Phil Hollander. Now, if you watched the video I made 5 or 6 weeks ago, we kind of talked about this. We had a feeling this could actually happen, and if it does happen, I wish him all the best. It's an absolute travesty what happened, because he's a fantastic defender, not only for us, but he just broke into the Swedish side in terms of making a consistent starting 11. So it's devastating for the big man, but if his contract does get ripped up in January, I wish him all the very best, and I hope that he gets back playing football, because he's got such a serious injury and he's nowhere near yet, despite it being over a year, able to play again. So I just hope he's able to get back and play football, whatever the case actually happens, whether he runs out his contract here and leaves at the end of the summer, or again gets ripped up and moves on. But speaking of contract situation, people, the next biggest thing we need to do in January isn't a sexy. It's not going to get loads of clicks. It's not going to get a lot of people excited or anything like that in terms of, oh, it's something new. But by God, do we need to get Ryan Kent's contract situation sorted pronto. People, I know not everybody likes him. I know a lot of people's been frustrated with him, but if there is one thing that is quite clear, people, he is not only well suited to Michael Beale's system and how he wants to play, but he is absolutely vital to what Michael Beale wants from his team. How much he talks about, how much he loves him, the freedom that he gives Ryan Kent. He's a different player under Beale than he has been for a long time under Gio, and I think that, based on just a couple games, people, it's worth protecting the value and asset of this football club by getting him a new deal. And if anybody wants a Ryan Kent, they need to pay for a Ryan Kent, because right now, people, not to freak the Ryan Kent fans out, anybody can pick up the phone right now and sign the laddie for nothing. How scary is that? Unless you're not a Ryan Kent fan. Some people will be absolutely delighted at that fact, but for me, it keeps me up at night. So I would love Ryan Kent's contract situation to be sorted. I want him at this football club. I can see a future of him at this football club. The next one is going to be more interesting, more divisive, because of course we have Morelos, who's also in the exact same boat as Ryan Kent. Anybody can pick up the phone and speak to Morelos and say, you want to come and sign for us. This one, I'm a little bit different feeling towards, because Morelos frustrates the life at me 90% of the time. I know he's been injured. I know he's had a couple good games. I know he's had a lot of bad games this season. But I just feel like a decision needs to be made then and there. I'm not wanting a Golden situation where the club doesn't offer him a new deal to the end of the actual season. I would like to know what's happening with Morelos right now. Either we keep him and we give him a new contract in January, or we sell him in January. If we allow Morelos to run his contract down and leave at the end of the season for free, it'll be one of the worst things that this club has done in terms of transfer values in a very, very long time, people, because that there is stinking. You take anything you can get from him if you're wanting to move him on. You didn't keep him at this football club. keep him here and then let him leave at the end of the season, in my opinion. I can understand it if you maybe want to try and do that with Kent to keep him at this club because you can see how vital he is to Michael Beale. But in terms of strikers, we've got Cholak, who again has shown he's more clinical than Morelos, and I can't wait to see him play under Beale. And again, if we do move Morelos on, if we make that decision, we can bring someone else in to this football club and everything like that. So, I just feel like a decision needs to be made regarding this transfer window for Alfredo Morelos, because I'm sick of the song, I'm sick of the dance. I'd just like to know, and if we're moving him on, let's move him on. And last but not least, regarding this upcoming January transfer window, again, none of this is breaking news or anything like that, but they're of course going to be regarding the goalkeeping situation, because I voiced my opinion. I'd like to sign one, we're not getting one, okay, fair enough, but if we're not bringing in another goalie, and if we're not giving Robbie McCrory another opportunity, let's stop wasting the young laddie's talent and future by having him riding the bench. People, you know what I mean, let's give him a loan. Let's say, let's do like what we've done with Alan McGregor all those years ago at Dunfermline. Let's give him the 6 months. Let's say, right, go out there and prove to us. We've just given you a new deal. Go and prove to us you want to be the number one. You're capable of being the number one. This is it. It's do or die, Robbie. We didn't need an up and down loan spell like your first spell at Livingston or a decent one at your second one. No, we need you to be a bona fide number one at your next club and show that you can be the number one. Let's give the laddie an opportunity rather than what we're doing with him right now and what Gio was doing with him, because it's no good enough. People giving him a new deal, extending him to 2025 and then having him riding the bench and getting a sniff at any games, despite the goalkeeping situation being absolutely horrific. I mean, I seen a stat the other day there, and this is going to blow your mind. Of the last 18 shots that Alan McGregor has faced in the goal at Rangers, he's conceded 11 goals. He's only made 7 saves, people, of the last 18 shots on target. That is terrifying. Robbie's not getting in during that. McLaughlin's not getting in that. So, the goalkeeping situation genuinely makes me feel ill, but if we're not making any changes, let's give Robbie an opportunity to go out there and earn the right to play for Rangers next season. And that's it, people. Again, I'm not going to take up too much of your time today. That's just my thoughts and opinion. We need signings. That's evident, or obvious, I should say. And I want them to be in a centre mid situation because it's embarrassing. The mace we've spent was 50k, and that was on a pre-contract to Glenn Kamara to get him in early, people, since we signed Morris Edu in the middle of the park. It's a shambles, so love to see that. And that's my opinions on the likes of Alander, the Ryan Kent, the Morelos situation I've been asked about a hell of a lot over the last couple of days. And of course, my opinion right now as it stands regarding the loan options for both James Sands and Malik Tillman. I'll give you my thoughts and opinions. That's it. Ahead of January, you now know you have no more questions to fire at me regarding that, and hopefully you've let me know how you feel, people, because I want to scroll down and see how else we could be actually feeling, because it could be drastically different. You might think we need another centre-back or anything like that, because with Hollander leaving the football club, are we strong enough with the position that we currently have? It could be that. It could be another left back. It could be another right back. It could be so many things, and that's what I want to hear and see down in the comment section below. Your opinions on what this January transfer window is for Rangers and what's needed. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, which of course will be the preview for Dundee United. I've been CJ092. Thank you so much for watching. All the best and bye.